All right, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. So, monetary metals are getting some love this morning. Now, they've pretty much been rising since around 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the rate of growth particularly ramped up around the same time as the opening bell. And we saw the Dow open up a little bit higher this morning, but it immediately started heading southward, as it often seems to be doing recently. And this is also while investors are leaving the U.S. 10-year as its yield started to increase around that same time. So, what else are we seeing today? Find out shortly. But first, if you're new to this channel, please hit that big red subscribe button right down below. Also, please hit the like button. It helps to get this economic evangelism right on out there to the masses to bring more people into precious metals. Okay, so let's start out taking a look at new economic data that we received. So we got the June housing starts data, and it increased from 1.01 million the prior month to 1.19 million in June. It slightly missed the more enthusiastic number of 1.2 million, but I mean, it was still fairly positive. I mean, it was pretty much right there knocking on the door. So that was the housing starts data. Um, Building permits also went up from 1.22 million, if you round it up, from the prior month to 1.24 million in June. So in general, building permits and housing starts beating expectations is seen as bullish for the US dollar. And not hitting those expectations is bearish. Now, obviously, they just barely missed expectations, so that's not going to be a huge hit to the US dollar. Now, check this out. Uh, Breaking US Consumer Sentiment Index slumps to 73.2 in July versus 79 expected. Now, I just read data for June in the housing sector. I find it so interesting how much of an inflection point July has become with the economy. It was expected that we would trend upward, not by much, but still trend upward regardless from 78.1, which is what we had in June, to 79. So we had a huge miss and actually dropped to 73.2 in July so far. So yeah, reversed course a little bit. And we got that consumer sentiment news right around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as you can see here, around 10, we got we got gold going up a bit, uh, but then it started to retreat, and now it's going back up again. And around 8:30, or that 8:30 range time, gold took a slight hit right around here. And that's when we got the housing data. As the housing data, even though it missed expectations, it was still an upward trajectory. Um, Silver, on the other hand, seemed to jump a bit around that 8:30 time. Um, and the news on consumer sentiment seemed to be having a positive push on the white metal as well, but not as great as it did for gold. As you can see, around that 10 o'clock hour, it got a little bump, and then it just dropped, and then it came back up along with gold. So, in general, silver is having a positive day, but a lot of up and down movement, as you can see here, has led it to only, partially outperform gold. As you can see here, gold had more of a straightaway, of course, had ups and downs, but it looks a lot less choppy than silver. Um, Silver's up 0.97%, gold is up 0.71%. But in general, the metals will continue to be supported as we see more and more news like this, guys. So on Thursday, we set a new single day record for rony cases. We in the US, we hit 77,200 in a single day. So things in general aren't looking good if the rony cases are a barometer for states and certain industries within states reclosing their businesses, and by extension causing economic contraction. So the more and more we see these things, it's almost like looking into a barometer and see, well, that means we're going to have some reclosures soon, which means economic contraction. So that wraps up this pretty much action-packed week of economic data, political news, and health news. That was your Friday, guys. Stick around for the next episodes coming up in an hour and then 2 hours after this episode. Hit the subscribe button so you can keep abreast of that. Also, please hit the like button. Helps to get this economic evangelism out there. All right, guys. Thanks again. It's Black Bullion.